Hi, I'm Abraham Negron, and this is my final project for HLH 201. So, the problem that I'm addressing is that there is a severe lack of healthy diet practices in low income, underserved communities. So from background information, in the low income areas, there is a lack of organic, healthy food available, while fast food and other unhealthy options are plentiful and can be found nearly on every block. So, I'm from New York City, and I can tell you that there would be a supermarket maybe every 7 or 10 blocks. But between those blocks, there was countless amounts of corner stores, liquor stores, chicken spots, and fast food places, all serving unhealthy foods that serve no purpose to help people in these communities to eat healthy. And because of this, many grow up with poor diets that consist of fatty foods, greasy foods, and foods that contain a lot of empty calories. This means that these types of foods are highly dense in calories but have little to no nutrients such as vitamins and minerals that are essential for the body to operate. Now, when the body does not have the required vitamins and minerals, it makes the body more prone to stress, and people in low income areas are already experiencing chronic stress due to long hours of work with little pay, and the situation that they're in is sometimes very volatile. I'm addressing the lack of education in low income areas about a healthy diet and how important it is to address. So, the significance of this is that it's a huge problem, as many of those who live in these low income areas are now at risk to many health problems such as cholesterol, heart disease, high blood pressure, liver damage, asthma, and health issues related to poor dietary practices. And now you might be wondering, how is asthma related to a healthy diet? Well, when you consume cigarettes, it actually makes us more stressed out because in the tobacco itself, such as the smoke, there is these particles in that smoke called free radicals that actually destroy the cell membrane, the mitochondria, and various other cells that get in contact with, which further stresses out the body and causes a lot of health issues, and which prevents us from being able to consume and digest the proper food that's needed. This makes life harder for those in this type of living later, as eventually they will have to address the health problems. And because many don't have health insurance, this will be another expense that they will have to worry about. And this can actually land them in thousands of dollars of debt. And the big problem here is that if they're in debt, they're probably not going to be able to get a loan to pay it off. Instead, it will just continue building up on interest, and it'll further cripple their options from financial freedom and trying to solve the issue. So the program name, I actually decided to call it Good Eats. The name behind this is inspired by the inner city neighborhoods, because this is a slang that they used, that we used actually, and it was used when we would eat something that was good. So, say for example, if I had bought a bacon, egg, and cheese or a chopped cheese, I would say, "Oh, it's good eats," to give praise to the said food when I like it. And I think this is very important because it allows people from this neighborhood to be able to relate to this program and not just think it's another program trying to get them to do and change their lives. Now, the way this program works is that it's set to help educate people in these neighborhoods to what happens when you don't have a proper diet and how to avoid these preventable health issues. So, we're going to do this by showing them what types of food are unhealthy. They would be able to recognize what not to eat and which ones to stay away from. So, this is basically showing them, hey, listen, don't go to the chicken spot, don't go here to McDonald's, get these type of vegetables, get these fruits to help out, offer alternatives to what they should eat. Now, this is based on the FDA's standard diet practices and what to actually eat for a healthy, balanced diet. Now, many people might not be willing to eat this type of diet. So, our next way we're going to function, which I believe is the most important, is offer how to cook, the popular cultural meals that's in the neighborhood in a way that's healthier and cheaper. So this is a way that people actually give it a try rather than changing how they eat, We just change the actual ingredients to eat healthier, so they can still eat how they would normally eat on any other given day, except that it's less oil, it's less greasy, and it's way more healthier. But also, we plan on giving away free food like a pantry, but only giving healthy food out to promote healthy living practices. And the type of food that we'd be giving out is the food that is meant to replace the ingredients that they already use. So the target demographic for this program is specifically in the River Park Towers community in the Bronx, New York. It happens to be majority of Spanish and African American. So this will be culturally competent, as we understand that many are ingrained in their ways on how to live their lives and follow their culture. So instead of forcing them to eat completely different food and dishes, we would instead, make suggestions, but also take traditional dishes that are popular, and change them to a way that's able to be consumed and not cause as much damage to their health. So, for example of this, every culture, I believe, eats fried chicken. I don't know one culture that does not have it in their palate. And instead of using corn and vegetable oil to fry the chicken, a simple suggestion would use olive oil or coconut oil. That makes this dish so much healthier, but it also adds a flavor to the food, that many, I believe, will be able to appreciate. Even at the cost of taste, it's such a much healthier alternative. It's not as oily. It doesn't clog the arteries as much. And when free food is distributed, it would be a healthier alternative, like I said earlier, than they usually use. So the team that we need for this would have to be a team comprised of professionals who understand the importance of a healthy diet, but more importantly, are from these type of neighborhoods, so they can relate and speak to them on a personal level. Now, I believe this because if you come to New York trying to get people to change their ways, trying to get them to do things that New Yorkers don't usually do, they're not going to want to listen to you, especially if you're an outsider. So, by having someone who grew up in New York or at least was from inner cities across America, they'll be able to speak to them on a level that they'll be able to understand and appreciate. I can't see our team having people who are from not from the inner cities. I mean, it would be much preferred if they were, but also we would want to have people with excellent management and planning skills. This is because we would meet 3 times a week to discuss new recipes to showcase, plan to educate these communities, and what type of stuff to give out in the pantry. This all has to be done beforehand, so we're not behind schedule and everyone's on the same playing field. Also, ideally, we would love to collaborate with nonprofit groups that specialize in obtaining food, so we have a steady flow of healthy food, and from there, we plan to specifically, which food to take, as we don't want to waste food, and then we plan to donate the non-picked food to a program dedicated to just giving food. So to explain this, because we're giving away food that is meant to replace a lot of the meals or ingredients that they would typically eat, we would need to get with a nonprofit, a food pantry that'll allow us to pick and choose which ones we want, rather than just taking it all. And everyone in our team will play a vital role in making sure we are culturally competent while informing and educating to our best ability.